Morning folks, Lester here, and today I want to talk to you about a little bit of a project that we're going to start thinking about, and it's going to be right over here in this area, this green space right through here. Now this is going to be a combined Lester and Jamie project. It's not going to be one that we're going to ask any help in. It's going to be one that we will do on our own using Longhorn Lester and Suits to Boots monies. Shadow, I'm trying to work here, sir. And so we're not asking for any help here, but I do want to keep you guys in the loop of what we're doing, what projects we're working on and stuff like that, okay? Things that we do where I use I'm a Survivor money or monies that you guys send to us for a specific purpose, like the stables, like the stalls, like the welding, like all the things. The most recent purchase that we did was for our buggy over here, our water tank sprayer that we were able to use to help clean up our pastures from all the weeds and the bad stuff that was growing across our pastures. We'll also use that when it comes time to fertilize. We're going to go with a liquid fertilizer this year, and that 500-gallon tank is big enough to do our pastures. There's a concentrate you put into it. Anyway, that's not the point of the video today. I want to talk to you about our 5-year goal. Our 5-year goal. 5-year goal. Our 5-year goal is to eventually be able to consolidate all of our babies. That would be the horses and donkeys, the big birds, our goats, our pigs, all of our babies, our alpaca, all into the 50 acres here at the JL Ranch. And you know that here at the JL Ranch, what we're going to do is kind of have the JL Ranch is like the umbrella, and under the umbrella will be the 3 components of the JL Ranch. All of our rescues, which will be the I'm a Survivor Sanctuary component. We'll also have all of the Longhorn content, which will be my stuff, Lester's stuff, and the From Suits to Boots, which will include all of Jamie's things like her gardening, yes, even her chickens and her horses and all the things that Jamie brings, right? But listen, before you can ever consider making that kind of a move, you have to have things set up in place ahead of time. For all that we have to do, we could move the animals easy enough just by adding a few shelters, a few extra cross fences and things like that, and your animals are welcome to come on over. But some of the things that you cannot bring over because we don't have a home here, we have an RV. Some of the things that you can't bring over are all of the things that, hey, Daddy loves you, okay? But I'm working, and now everyone sees that I'm wearing Crocs with socks. Guys, forgive me. Forgive me for having to let y'all see that. I like for you all to have this image of me, and Crocs and socks is not the image I would like to show out, okay? Anyway, what we're going to do is consider saving some money and getting us a building built right over there. Not a home, no, not a home. Our future home, as you guys know, will be over in this green space. But we're going to get a building over here in this green space over on this side, and it's going to be able to serve a whole lot of purposes in helping us get started on that 5-year plan. Let me show you the building. I'll stick it on here right now. And what we'll be able to put inside of this building will be all of the things that we bring over that have to be, you might say, stored while we have our home being built. And so we will at some point put Longhorn Lesters up for sale. But as you guys know, with the housing market and all the things, it may take a while to sell that property. When we do sell that property, we will take that money and start working on a home and other improvements here on this property. We'll also make sure that a chunk of that money goes into the inheritance and whatever we got to do for our children, okay? But before we can ever begin to pack and move things over, we're going to have a place to put those things, because as you already can imagine, you're not going to fit a whole lot of shoes and clothes and Jamie's this is and Jamie's that is in that little small RV. So we're going to have us a building over here that will first of all serve as a temporary storage unit for a lot of our stuff. But once we get our home eventually built, it will serve as a place for so many other things, including chickens. Yes, you heard me right, including chickens and chicken stuff, plants and plant stuff. It'll be a place for Jamie's motorhome to be parked. It'll be a place for me to put my tractor and maybe my equipment. It'll also be a place big enough, a shop big enough that we can pull out those things if we want to host a family event. You guys know that we've been blessed to have hosted many family events over at Longhorn Lester's. And to host a family event, you need a space. So the building that we're going to have done will have to have a concrete floor. It'll have to be cemented, so we'll have a nice solid foundation to it. And it's going to go in that space right over there. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to take my wheel and I'm going to measure how much space we have. We know for a fact that those center garage doors have to be at least 12 feet high. Jamie's motorhome is 11 foot height. So a 12 foot, oh, don't fall, baby. Are you okay? Whenever she falls, she gets so embarrassed and she wants to pretend like she did it on purpose. Are you okay? I'm sorry you slipped and fell, baby. It's wet over there, though. It is wet. So I'm going to run grab my wheel, and we're going to measure some things off. You guys come with me, okay? I told Jamie that we would be wise to have a place in here big enough to where we could also have a nook for a small bathroom. So if we were having like family events, everybody would be able to have a restroom inside the small building and not be forced to go inside the house. If we had workers here doing jobs, you already know that we do have a bathroom, a toilet in the tool room over there. So there may be a couple of small features we could work on. So first of all, we want to measure how far across. Now it's important to me because of my spatial reasoning that I have it centered with this barn right over here. So the center of this new shop, we're going to call it the shop. The center of the new shop will be able to go right here at the center of this barn, okay? So what I'm going to do is take my wheel, let me reset everything. Reset it again. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to measure as the max possible, and they can work off of that. So there's no way I want to get closer than right here. So this is 34, let's just say 35 feet. So we can go as far as 35 feet and still not come anywhere close to my driveway going into our bullpen pasture. So 35, if you double that, would be 70. So we can have a building as wide as 70, and that would fit no problem whatsoever. So 70 wide would fit very easily. And I do believe that 70 wide would still give us room for 2 center garage doors, because I'm guessing those doors are probably 12 wide. I don't know that for a fact. 12, 24, and then there's some spaces between them. So I'm thinking that 70 wide would be plenty. Now deep is going to be easy. Once again, if I start here in the very center of my green space, and I say the center, I have as much room going that way as I do going this way. All right, so let me reset. All right, here we go. Look out, little kitty. So right here is 30 right here. So there's 30, and that still gives you plenty of space on your driveway to come by with, if you're, whatever you're pulling, a trailer, a big truck, your regular vehicles, or whatever else. And remember, that means that those garage doors might be right here. This might be your first big garage door right here, which means you come in and you continue your white rock all the way around to your garage doors, and you pull into your garage doors right here. This would be one garage door on this side, and here's your other large garage door over on this side. Now, those smaller, the side pocket garage doors, you'd have one right about over here-ish. And so in essence, you would have 4 garage doors. The 2 on the sides would be smaller than 2 garage door. Okay. Hey, I'm trying to make a video and I can't focus. So you have 4 garage doors total, alrighty? And 2 of them will be smaller. So the 2 on the sides might be smaller for your lawnmower, for your tractor, for small things like that. And then, like I said, eventually, if you have an event on occasion, you pull all of those things out and make it into one very large open space. You will have a side door and a side window on each side. Now, this thing's not going to be air conditioned or heated, so it's just going to be a metal building. And the only spot I'll have to fill in, I have a hole over there that I'll have to fill in, but that's just going to require me either bringing a couple of buckets of clay around or having a load of clay brought in and filling in both of these big holes if we decide to do that. But this would be the space of that building. Now, guys, listen, this is not going to happen tomorrow or the next day. This is something that we're thinking about and talking about. And to do a project like this, what you'd have to do is do it in steps. I would have to call in Sam. He's the guy who we use for all of our concrete work. Mr. Sam would come by and he would stake it out and square it off. And then he would come by and do some framing. He would tell me how many loads of dirt we have to bring in first. He'd flatten all that down good. Baby girl, sweetie, can I get anything done around here without all of this? Can I get anything done around here without all this? I used to come over and work in peace. Guys, I did. I used to come over and work in complete peace. And I only had to deal with the chaos when I went inside the pastures. Now, however, I work amongst chaos. I imagine that Jamie, on her side over there, could have chickens, or chicken accessories, or plant accessories, or incubators, or whatever she wants to do with all of that. I've already told you guys that I've decided to go ahead and stop being so selfish and greedy and give Jamie the entire center courtyard for her gardening purposes, her gardening desires. She can garden her heart out as long as she can do it in this big center courtyard area. And I've even told you this, if she wants a koi pond so gosh darn bad, there you go. I'm not going to be greedy and selfish. I'm not going to be a jerk. But this center courtyard has to be used for something. It has to be. It can't just sit here and be a big green space forever. But just so you know, I'll have to keep you in the loop. And like I said, we are not asking for any money. So we're not asking for a crowd fund of anything. We love the fact that you guys help us bring the babies their best life possible. And the support that you give us allows us to do all of those things with the feed and the vet care and all the things that our babies need. We're able to provide because of your love and your generosity. What's going on with Chucky Poo? What's wrong, Chucky? He's like, I'm not sure about that building. That's gonna cut off my view of watching you. Chuck, Chuck, it's gonna cut off my view from watching you too. It's gonna, Oh, Chuck. We can watch each other from the side of the building, Chuck. He's like, my view of watching you, Dad. You're gonna be fine, Chuck, I promise. You're gonna be fine. All right, so this would be the back side of that building, which you would not see. We wouldn't have any doors or anything over here. This would be the back wall of the building. Jamie would have her side over here, where Jamie would have all kinds of stuff that has to do with chickens and plants and anything that has to do with Jamie. Now, don't forget, we already have a tack room over there for our horses. We don't utilize a whole lot because we only have a few horses here, and we're not riding right now. We're not doing anything. Most of our tack is still inside of our horse trailer. We're up in the front compartment. But anyway, this is going to be Jamie's side. She'll have her very own, I'm going to guess and say probably 12, 15 foot by about 60 foot. And that will be all Jamie stuff for her chickens and for just whatever's Jamie. The entire center, now of course at first will be used for storage of all of our stuff that we have to bring over. Office stuff, bedroom stuff, furniture stuff, all the things that we want to bring over out of our Longhorn Lester property and store in here until we get our eventual home built. But guys, this is a long-term plan. This is nothing immediate. So just don't be thinking you're going to find stuff happening overnight. Over on my side, remember, I'm on the back side right now, but over on my side, I would use my side over here, which would be the same size as Jamie's, for the feed room. I'd want to have a normal feed room so I could pull up and unload my feed, and I would work my feed out of this room right over here. I would also park my side-by-side and my lawnmower to keep those out of the weather. And that is all I would have over on my side. Now, we would have to also, like I said, somewhere inside of that building, build us a room, like a mud room sort of, where we could have a washer and dryer. We'd have to have a septic tank put in. Obviously, we'd run power. And we'd have a little bathroom as well. Maybe even just a shower. So we have some really neat ideas. But I kind of think that before we can ever do anything serious with trying to put the other property up for sale and start having it to be able to be shown where people could come over and see, we would have to kind of do some things and have some things out of there so that potential buyers can see firsthand what they're actually buying. And you can't really show a home while it's already full of your stuff, your dogs and everything else, right? In saying so, we have to have a place for our dogs because, guys, you're not going to fit all of our dogs into that small JL motel for however long it takes to get a home built, okay? You're not. I do believe that I'll have this land paid off in a year. I'm working so hard, friends. I'm putting out so much content, and I'm trying to save every penny, and you have no idea how much I'm paying towards this property. Once I get this land paid off, and we get the JL South or the Longhorn Lester property figured out with all of our pastures and all of our things, then we'll be able to move forward. I'm excited about it, and I'm hoping that you will be too. A lot of folks love to see good things happen to good people, and there's just as many who hate to see stuff like that happen. But this is, and I've said it so many times, this is a perfect property in so many ways. Do I wish there were more shade trees? Absolutely. But let's not forget one thing. Every tree that you see at Morrow Hill was planted by me and my nanny. So you cannot say that it's not possible to start planting saplings anywhere you wanted them to, and in a few years start having some good sized trees. Guys, right there, my mom and dad's new front yard where they're building their new home, you see the most beautiful live oak trees. Those were planted by me when they were about this tall, and that was just not that many years ago. But so yes, the JL Ranch, the future home of I'm a Survivor Sanctuary and all of our rescues, it will remain the home to my Longhorns, my wonderful, wonderful Longhorns. It'll remain the home to our beautiful horses, along with the others who are not here now. our donkeys. We'll have our big birds. We'll have our goats. We'll have our pigs. We'll have our alpaca. We'll have our dogs and all of our cats. And this is going to be one property that's going to have all of those wonderful things. But in saying so, I wanted to share with you all kind of the steps of how that has to happen. And the next step might be to have a place for us to start putting things. Alrighty? Well, like I said, we'll have to get on the phone and let the building people know my dimensions. Once they tell me the different building styles they have to fit this dimension, then we'll talk to Mr. Sam to come out and frame it all in. Not frame it, but foundation frame. He will also bring a guy who works for him who can put in all of the plumbing fixtures for the washer and the septic and all of those things. At that point, we'll pour the concrete and then we'll order the building. So nothing's going to happen overnight. You're not going to see anything by the end of the month. This is long-term planning. And that's what you do, friends. When you start master planning your property, and I've been so very blessed to be able to master plan 3 properties now, it takes baby steps, and then you eventually get there. Now, are there other things that I want to do eventually? Yeah, I've told you guys plenty of times we really do need a birthing center. But you know what? I have that big ass barn right there that we use for almost nothing. And it could very well be I could get me a birthing stall built in there easy enough and use that backside over there for my little bit of a lot, so that whatever cow is in there during its birthing time has a place to walk out and graze and get some fresh air. And it's just requiring me to have to do a little bit of a fencing job, a little bit of shelter, a little bit of corral building or stall building. So I have the facilities. This is an amazing property that gives us so many options to work with. Anyway, guys, thank you for dreaming with me. Thank you for dreaming with me. All right? And that's all we're doing. We're dreaming. And it's always fun. And you know what? Dreaming costs nothing. Thank you for sharing your ideas. If you want to drop an exit ticket to let me know what you're thinking, remember, exit tickets go in the comment section, not in the chat. The chat goes away. Comments, though, will stay forever. Thank y'all so much for watching. We love you. We're blessed to have you. And we'll catch you guys on the next video.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.